United States, one of the most quote unquote most powerful positions in the world. Okay, the world used.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Clifton Raheem Bradley of the Underground Railroad Podcast. Clifton, and you know what? We are going to hear from Mr. Lewis, who's running for the Congressional District in Chicago, Illinois, against not Jesse Jackson, Jonathan Jackson. And we're going to hear also, we're going to talk about the Republican strategy to defeat Kamala Harris. And with no further ado, I see he's there, but he was really there ahead of time. So, brother, I want to thank you for accepting the invitation to come on the Underground Railroad Podcast in the United States in Chicago. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much.
Good. And brother, can you make a brief introduction of yourself? Because I've already informed the individuals that are looking. We will be talking about your candidacy for the Congressional First District. And I know that you are an alumni of DePaul and you went to DeSable, but make an introduction of yourself, please.
Well, my name is Marcus Lewis. I'm the Republican nominee for the 1st Congressional District of Illinois, seeking the seat in Congress against the current incumbent, Jonathan Jackson, a freshman in Congress as it stands. My whole initiative is to help the constituents of the district because we've basically been shut out for the last 30 to 40 years when you had Bobby Rush for 30 years in the seat, and it's now been turned over to Jonathan Jackson simply because of name recognition. He himself has been associated with Sam Bankman-Fried, a gentleman who gave him $1 million and also gave $40 million to 40 different Democratic incumbents and nominees at the time, of which he's now been convicted and is serving a 25-year prison sentence in federal prison for embezzling funds from unknown, unlikely people that gave to him, like Bernie Madoff.
Yes.
It's stolen money that he holds, and he will not give it back. Talking about Jonathan Jackson. He's basically someone that's sitting there, basically being a step and fetch it for the Democratic machine in Congress. He votes in lockstep with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He's for the, which I'm totally against, the invasion of this country of these illegals that Joe Biden had told in 2020 during the debates to surge the border. Now they're receiving incomes that they didn't work for, Social Security. It's gotten to the place to where the country is in total chaos, and they're standing there watching it burn.
I'd like to ask you one question. You know what? I'd like to ask you a question. My question is, are you like former President Donald Trump when he said that he would not be running if Joe Biden was doing a good job? He had a good life. Are you sort of like that? If you didn't see the decay in the problems, you got a good life, you wouldn't run. You wouldn't even think about it. Am I wrong or right?
We are in similar stages, Brother Clifton, that this is not something I aspire to. Let's put it like that. This is something that I basically felt the need because seeing people not receiving their, they weren't being treated well as constituents. Their issues had gone to the wayside. We're seeing all this poverty, especially in the Black community here, of which the weighted vote is here in Chicago for the 1st Congressional District. And thereby you have to be a Democrat. So now I have to go up that. I'm facing that wind in my face. But I'm still believing God that I can win this seat if the people simply have an epiphany and come to themselves and see that we can't live like this.
You know what, and I would say that Jonathan Jackson, who is the current congressman right now, he is your closest rival in the race. Have you debated him? Have you challenged him to a debate? And has he accepted the challenge? I rejected the challenge, and why?
I did write contacted his chief of staff, Ed Holm, and he said, well, the congressman is doing a great job. And I said, well, let the people decide. And so he's been sent 3 separate invitations to debate me and to stand before the people, because after all, it's the people's seat. And I did send it also to the women's League of Women Voters, which I've received no response whatsoever. And it came the same that way with the congressman's chief of staff. So they basically, as they say, with the gentleman from India, he had said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. We're talking about Gandhi. And so they can ignore me all they want to, but November 5th is fast approaching. And the people now clearly see that they have been tricked into thinking that voting for whoever holds the D behind their name, because it's only been through habit, through their family. We got to vote Democrat. And the other place is they will demonize the other side, being Republican, or anyone else for that matter, that look like they're getting a foothold. And say, no, we got to keep them out. And that's the whole basis of the campaign, just to keep them out. But then at the end, they say, we won. And then I say, what did you win? And then it goes back to business as usual. And they say, but we'll see you next election and we'll do the same thing.
My question to follow up on it, do you feel, as a candidate for the Congressional Congress in the 1st District running against Jonathan Jackson, do you feel he does not want to debate you because he feels entitled? He feels arrogant, and he feels that, hey, Jesse Jackson is my father. Do you feel that he feels Operation Pushes? Hey, do you think that he feels entitled or arrogant? Because that is the reason he does not want to debate you on a one-on-one.
Yes, because
why do you say that?
His predecessors never debated. You got to remember, once they feel they have their candidate, which is no more in the front. Once they have them seated, they figure that what you gonna do about it?
Yes.
We have a block of voters that in their eyes are beholden to them. Will enshrine anything that they want for them. They will make sure that they remain in power. And that myself is almost hypnotic. It's almost it's insulting, because the people, one time, I will let you know, this is my 8th consecutive run for Congress, Brother Cliff. I ran as an independent in the first, in the 2nd Congressional District, 2012, 2013, and 2014. I crossed over because I would have been a Democrat anyway. I would have caucused with the Democrats. And then I ran for Congress in 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22 as a Democrat. And now I have seen the light. To go the Republican route, simply because I like Donald Trump. Personally, I like him. I didn't say it was perfect. I said I like him because he's an excellent man when it comes to business. He's straightforward when he wants to talk to people that are Black, such as myself, and he wants to be honest. And I am one to not only want to work, but also want to gain the skills, the skill set to be able to build businesses, build and create something. The people that will, first of all, last me. Like one man said, I want to plant a tree of which I know I will not gain the shade, the benefit of its shade or its fruit. You see, but for someone else that will come behind me, that will say, thank God, Marcus Lewis was our congressman at the time, and he laid a foundation and groundwork for us, and now we can build upon that.
Yes.
You can't do that with the Jonathan Jacksons of the world. You can't, because it's only for them. It's only for their families. And they give you the symbolism and tokenism of, well, you know, we have to keep the seat for us. You know, there's always that nonsense at election time.
Yes.
And take a picture with me. That nonsense, I can't take that to the grocery store.
Yes.
I can't take that to pay my bills, and I can't take that if I wanted to invest. You see, it's strictly selfishness, and they're using the seat that is ours for their own, as if it's a personal ATM.
So, but you feel that he does not want to debate you, which is as close as his rival, because of entitlement. Is that the reason? He feels as though I am Jesse Jackson's son. I don't have to. Is that the reason?
They don't, and it's simply because they feel that it's not a job of service. They believe it's a job of entitlement, that we reach the highest levels of government, which he's one of 435 in the House, and of course there's 100 in the Senate, and now they are at the levels of government. So it's their time to now the trough is theirs for which to dip their hat and pull out whatever they want to enrich themselves, because you know Truman said that any person that gets rich being a politician is a crook.
Yes.
How do you make the job is only $74,900 a year. The job is only 735 days in totality before the next election.
Yes.
How do you amass wealth as some of them have, such as Nancy Pelosi, which is worth over $220 million? I mean, how do you buy these $1 million homes when your salary is only $174,900?
Yes.
You're not serving anybody but yourself. And the people understand that. It's just that when it comes to election, they've got this kabuki dance of we've got to keep them people out. You know, we got to save it for us. You know, let me tell you something. My campaign is called Putting Us First.
Put America first. Okay.
Putting us first.
Okay.
You can divide that how you want to, put the United States first, but I meant it putting us first because us is in the name of Marcus. And they are CUS.
Yes.
CUS. And I would like to have us reap the benefits, because after all, it's our seat.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that everybody's going to get rich. No. But what I am saying, I want to offer you the initiatives. I want to offer you the opportunity to put forth bills that you feel that is necessary to hold up your district in such a way that it is preserving for us. You see, this is what's necessary. This is what the job is for, to represent, not to rule over. I don't rule over anyone. I represent you and your interests. And I would be your federal voice in the House floor of Congress. I could go to the president, you see, and tell them the first congressional district needs this, thus, and so.
Let me ask you something. How can people aid and assist you in your endeavor to become the congressman of the first district, and how can they help you financially, far as volunteering for you? How can they help you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you,
And putting pressure on Congressman Jonathan Jackson to debate you. How can they help you?
well, first of all, they can go to my website, MarcusLewisForCongress.org. MarcusLewisForCongress.org.
Yes.
And there they can get a hint and a deep breath of what I stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to the money issue, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Money doesn't vote. Money is helpful. Money doesn't vote. See, I've learned by running, this being my 8th consecutive time, that having money gives you the ability to manipulate and put your message out. And when I say manipulate, you can do it in a good way, you can do it in a bad way.
Yes.
But I would like to be able to get my message out. But the issue of it is, I'm already in every precinct, of every voting booth when voting time comes, because my name will be right there next to Jonathan Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And it is incumbent upon the voter to educate yourself. What do you want your district and country to be? Now, if we're going to go with this same old song and dance, then when you go into the voting booth, you'll just see Jonathan's name, just strike it. Say, oh, that's what I want, and then walk out.
Yes.
Based on maybe one issue, like abortion, or I just like the way he dressed, or some other nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That type of allegiance gets us nowhere. That's why we're in the situation we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And some people say everything's just fine.
Yes.
But everything's not fine. Let me say for one instance, Jonathan Jackson voted against House Res 957.
Yes.
And that was a denunciation of the Joe Biden open border policy.
Yes.
Do you know that Jonathan Jackson voted no? He would not denounce Joe Biden. But thanks be to God, 14 Democrats crossed over.
Yes.
That being said, the influx of illegals, which we don't know who these people are.
Yes.
That on November 5th at South Shore Cultural Center on 71st and South Shore Drive.
In Chicago. Okay.
Jonathan Jackson held a town hall, of which there were mainly a lot of Jacksonites there.
Yes.
But there were some scattered people that basically just came in just to find out what he had to say.
Yes.
He told the people after some long diatribe, which is hypnotic to take control of the meeting of why we're in this situation, whatever the case may be, in Venezuela and why they're coming on, whatnot.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, he was told that you were going to make us a permanent minority or permanent underclass as far as voting, because these people will have children, and in 20 years, they will be voters, and we will be basically kicked to the curb, outvoted. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, let me tell you something. This is a quote. You can go on YouTube and see it yourself.
Yes.
He said, this is not only a sanctuary city, this is a sanctuary state.
Yes.
That means you can go out to Kenilworth, you can go out to Winnetka, they rich out there, and you can basically go out there and beg.
Yes.
Now, he didn't say beg, but I'm saying it, because if this is a sanctuary city and sanctuary state, that sanctuary status is not for us. That's the manipulation. It's for those that are illegal, that are hiding. You see, they have where ICE, being a sanctuary city and sanctuary state, let me explain that, means that you will not help ICE to be able to apprehend.
What is ICE? What is ICE? ICE apprehends people that are here illegally, right?
Exactly, and deports them. So he's not going. So we're not going to help them. But that doesn't help Black people at all. You see, you can go out to Winnetka and you can go out to Kenilworth because they're rich out there and say what? You're not illegal, so they're not going to give you anything. First of all, they would be hard pressed to give us anything anyway.
Yes.
This is the mentality of the Jacksons.
Yes.
Tell them some nonsense, feed them some old gobbledygook, and then say, "Oh, keep hope alive, keep hope alive." And I'm not. Look, it's a great saying, but hope without some sort of initiative is simply what the Bible says. Faith without substance is void.
Yes,
You
yes.
have to have something behind it.
Mhm.
And so he's not leading us to anything to go anywhere other than stand in place, say we won, and you're abandoned for another 2 years. He doesn't care. They don't care. The Democratic Party has left what they stood for, which was for working class people.
I want to go back, excuse me, I want to go back to after slavery. Is it true that black people that came out of slavery, they were Republicans? I would like to know, why were they Republicans? Because of Lincoln, and why did they abandon the Republican Party? And a lot of them abandoned the Republican Party and then decided to be Democrats. Why?
Well, in my thing of history, as I remember it, the Emancipation Proclamation let the northern states know that we're going to free these people.
Yes.
Though Lincoln himself said he wanted to send them back to Africa. But it was a good strategy because he was losing the war. And he finally, through Frederick Douglass, told him you have to put the gun in the slave's hand. You had to.
Yes.
And then when he did that, they came up with the Missouri Compromise, of which until 1883, black people were in Congress. Black people thrived. Now, whether they were Republican or not, the real issue of it is that slavery came from the Democratic Party. The Ku Klux Klan came from the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Separate but equal came from the Democratic Party. It was only until when FDR, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, saved capitalism. And that's where they went over to be Democrat, because they were starving. People in America, not just black people, but people in America were starving, even though we were able to make a way. The issue now is that I'm asking people to now come to themselves and return to the Republican Party, because under Donald Trump, we have a person that I hope to be in the White House that not only cares for people, but he has a deep concern for black people as well.
Well, is it a misnomer? Okay. Is it factual? Okay. Did the Democrats put this in our heads, that a lot of people's heads, that the Republicans have a tendency to look out for big business, but they don't have a tendency to look out for people that are disenfranchised, are economically unstable? Is this a misnomer?
Well, it's not a misnomer, because the Republican Party has always been for the party for the wealthy.
Okay.
And that's no joke. And especially it was well under Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
And George Bush. But since then, under Donald John Trump, who happens to be a billionaire.
Yes.
Well, one, he's always had a history. And see the difference of what I did. I believed all that propaganda they were saying about it, because I thought, oh, here's another man that wants to come and enrich his family and all whatnot. Obviously, he's a businessman. And I always was concerned about business people heading our government, because they're running like a business. And then if you are in need, well, tough. But I found through my education and research on my own, I found out he's a man that has always been, his picture's always been around black people throughout my life. And he is one that actually helped people. There was a black woman that was found in his Trump Tower. And when they found her, she didn't have nowhere to go. And Donald John Trump found out about it. He said, let her stay. And not only did he say let her stay, he paid for a whole year to live in opulent digs of Trump Tower. He's helped black people consistently, giving them checks. Jesse Jackson, James Brown, Al Sharpton, their hands have always been out to receive whatever largesse he would give them.
Now, have to follow up with a question, being a journalist. Now, first of all, people can change. Okay. Once upon a time, it was the Central Park Five. It was 5 people in New York that he put a full-page ad in and said that they did harm or killed somebody, but they found out they was innocent, and he had housing discrimination. But first of all, people can change. That's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. So I would like
all
to
make mistakes.
can you address that?
Well, first of all, when the Central Park Five were convicted, he did put out a full page. I'm speaking about Donald Trump. Put out a film, but the difference between him and those that prosecuting knew they were innocent.
What your grandfather was doing. Any message for your grandchildren? Great.
Because I happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
And they
Some people don't know what NSA
the National Security Administration. And when I walked up in there and seen nothing like that before in my whole life. Wow. They got video screens. I mean, from here to 35th Street.
Those street cameras, right?
Those are the screens like you watch on a computer.
Right.
All right? They got a room where they listen to conversations all around the country. All right? That's why I can say what I said. But they let me go because he was an important person. And they figured if he was pregnant, it was all right. All right? They made a mistake, but I never forgot that.
Well, wait a minute. Wow.